Hello and welcome, my dear students, to another topic of e-learning. And today I'm going to discuss about one of the learning theories, that is trial and error theory by E.L. Thorndike. Edward Lee Thorndike or E.L. Thorndike is generally considered to have been the foremost educational psychologist not only of the United States but of the world. He contributed to research and theory in the field of learning and genetic psychology. According to him or according to Thorndike, all learning is the formation of bonds and connections between stimulus and response. Therefore, his theory of learning is also called theory of connectivism. According to him, learning takes place by trial and error. In learning, the learner selects a correct response out of a large number of possible ones and connects it with the appropriate stimulus. Learning by this method is called trial and error learning theory. Thus, in trial and error learning method, the learner makes random activities and finally reaches the goal accidentally. Hence, one thing should be remembered that in trial and error also, there are often systematic and relevant responses. Activities are not always wholly random. Now, let's talk about the Thorndike's cat experiment. The Thorndike cat's experiment starts with a hungry cat which is placed inside a puzzle box and a plate of a fish is kept outside the box. It was impossible for the cat to get to the plate unless it could open the door and get out. Thorndike had arranged the puzzle box such that the cat either had to pull a loop or press a lever in order to open the door. Initially, the cat moved randomly inside the box, biting and crawling at the bars, thrusting its paws and trying to squeeze out of the box. After several minutes of trying these ineffective responses, the cat accidentally pulled the loop. Having hit the correct response, the cat managed to get out and it was awarded with a small piece of a fish. The cat was placed inside the box again. This time around, the cat took less time to pull the loop. The exercise was continued repeatedly. It was seen that as the number of the trial increased, the time taken to pull the loop decreased. This is how Thorndike has placed the trial and error learning theory on the base of this experiment. Now let's discuss about the laws of learning given by Thorndike. There are three primary laws of learning in trial and error theory. Number one, the law of readiness. This law states that when a child is ready to act or to learn, he acts or learns more effectively and with greater satisfaction. Before actual learning, one must be mentally prepared and his mind must set to be learned. Number two is the law of exercise. Law of exercise is a fundamental basis of trial and error learning. Since organism learns as a result of repeated trials, practice and exercise. This law can be again subdivided into two parts, that is the law of use and law of disuse. If any action is repeated by an organism in certain condition, learning occurs, that is law of use. And law of disuse, if the action is not repeated by an organism, there will be no learning. Number three law, that is the law of effects. The law stated that any behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, and any behavior followed by unpleasant consequences is likely to be stopped. Now let's discuss about the secondary laws by Thorndike. Number one is the law of multiple response. The law implies that confronted with a new situation, the organism responds in a variety of ways before arriving at a correct response. Number two, law of attitude learning. This is guided by the attitude of the organism towards the task. The learner performs the task properly if he has developed a healthy attitude towards the task. Law of analogy. An individual responds to a new situation on the basis of the responses by analogy. Law of associative shifting. The law states that any response may elicit from the learner in associated with any situation to which he is sensitive. This was the theory or the trial and error learning theory of Thorndike. Now let's discuss about the educational implication of trial and error learning by Thorndike. Number one, motivation is very important in teaching learning process. Punishment should be avoided in learning situations. Learning should be made enjoyable, purposeful, and goal oriented. Teacher must wait till the learner is ready to learn, and he has to give those experiences which help to enhance readiness. It also emphasized past experiences and learning that gives adequate base for learning. More opportunities should be given to the learners to use and repeat the knowledge they get in classroom. And the last, the learner should be encouraged to do his task independently. He must try various solutions of the problems before arriving at the correct one.